Hello everyone and welcome to the lecture on AWS local zones. So what is AWS local zones? AWS local zones are an extension of AWS regions, bringing AWS services closer to end users for low latency computing. Local zones are strategically placed to bring AWS services nearer to specific geographic areas, enhancing service availability and reliability. They provide a broad range of AWS services, including computing, storage, and database capabilities, similar to what is available in AWS regions but closer to users. By reducing the distance between the users and the AWS infrastructure, local zones significantly reduce latency, enabling faster response times and improved user experience. Applications such as real-time gaming, live video streaming, and machine learning inference can benefit from the low latency offered by local zones. Local zones are connected to the nearest AWS region through Amazon's private network, ensuring secure and seamless integration with other AWS services. So as of August 2023, AWS local zones are available in select locations worldwide and with plans to expand for more areas in the future. So this is how a high level overview of local zone. So a local zone is an extension of an AWS region in geographic proximity to your users. Local zones have their own connections to the internet and support AWS Direct Connect, so that resources created in local zone can serve applications that require low latency. To use a local zone, you must first enable it. Next, you create a subnet in the local zone. So first you enable it and then you create a subnet. Finally, you launch resources in the local zone subnet. For example, we can launch EC2 instances and some more other services. And this following diagram shows an account with VPC in AWS region US East 1 that is extended to the local zone US East 1 NYC New York 1A. So there is a local zone code for this. And this is available in US East 1A, so that's why this particular local zone has got new. So there are a couple of others also in US East 1, so I'll show you the list. So some key concepts of AWS local zones. So as I talked about, a local zone is an extension of AWS region in geographic proximity to your users, where the local zone infrastructure is deployed. So that's what we call as local zone. And second, VPC, because VPC is an important component. So VPC is a virtual network that closely resembles a traditional network you would operate in your own data center, and you create subnets in your VPC and deploy AWS resources such as EC2 instances in your subnets. And a VPC can span availability zones and local zones and also wavelength zones. So we know for that it can span AZs, but now it can span LZs as well as wavelength zones. So a subnet that you create in a local zone, and you can deploy supported AWS resources in your local zone subnet. So this is called as local zone subnet. Any subnet that you launch in a local zone. Then we have something called as network border group, which is a unique group from which AWS advertises public IP addresses. And it consists of availability zones, local zones, or wavelength zones. A pool of public IP addresses can be explicitly allocated for use in a network border group. And once provisioned, IP addresses cannot move between network border groups. Then parent region, the region that handles some of the local zones and wavelength zones control plane operations such as API calls. So in the previous diagram, US East 1 was the parent region. And every parent region has parent zone ID, the ID of the zone that handles some of the local zone and wavelength zone control plane operations such as API calls. So some considerations for local zone. So local zone subnets follow the same routing rules as availability zones subnets, including the use of route tables, security groups, and network ACLs. Outbound internet traffic leaves a local zone directly from the local zone rather than routing through the parent region. When connecting from an on-premises location into a local zone using a transit gateway, network traffic will hairpin to the AWS region. You cannot select a subnet from a local zone while creating a cloud wide area network or transit gateway VPC attachment. Doing so will result in an error. shortest path to local zone for US traffic using AWS Direct Connect. So traffic within the US that is destined for a subnet in a local zone using AWS Direct Connect takes the shortest path to the local zone, decreasing latency and making application more responsive, but it's only applicable to US region. If you require a more resilient connection, implement more than one AWS Direct Connect between your on-premises location and the local zone. So you can have Direct Connect as well as local zone, but if you want to increase the resiliency, so recommendation is to have the Direct Connect as well, but local zone will also help in reducing the latency. You cannot create VPC endpoints inside the local zone subnets. So we create VPC endpoints in the VPC, but in the subnets, in the regular subnets, but not in the local zone subnets. 8th, the AWS site-to-site VPN is not available in local zones. 9th, to establish a site-to-site VPN connection into a local zone, use a software-based VPN solution. So direct AWS VPN product is not available, but using EC2 you can have a software-based VPN solution. Okay, some maximum transmission unit MTU varies between different. So first is like we have 9,000 bytes within the same local zone. So MTU, maximum transmission unit, is 9,001 bytes between Amazon EC2 instances in the same local zone. So if you have multiple EC2 instances, the communication speed will be 9,001 bytes. It will be 1,500 bytes between internet gateway and local zone. So MTU will be 1,500 bytes between internet gateway and a local zone. But it will be 1,468 bytes between AWS Direct Connect and a local zone, and it will reduce even further. It will become 1,300. For most local zones, the MTU is 1,300 bytes between Amazon EC2 instance in a local zone and EC2 instance in the region. So this EC2 instance is in the subnet, let's say in the VPC, and then you have EC2 instance in the local zone. So availability zone and local zones, just think like that. So it will be 1,300 bytes. Okay, AWS services in local zones. So we'll see which all services are supported as of this recording. So first is Amazon EC2. Next is Amazon Virtual Private Cloud, Amazon EBS, Amazon FSx, Elastic Load Balancing, Amazon EMR, which is a managed cluster for big data processing, Amazon Elasticache, which is a fully managed in-memory caching service, Amazon RDS can also be used in a local zone. Then you have on-demand capacity reservation. So you can reserve capacity for your Amazon EC2 instances in a specific local zone using on-demand capacity reservation, and it follows pay-per-use pricing. So there are no additional fees for enabling local zones. You only pay for the services you consume in local zones. Okay, so these are the local zones. So you can just pause and take a look. So local zone, then it has a local zone code and local zone ID, network border group, and parent region and parent zone ID. So these are all the local zone names. So Argentina, Australia, Denmark, Finland, and it has a local zone code. So in the first diagram we have seen US East 1, New York 1A. So this is the list as of this recording, and the one which I showed was here. So we will refer to this local zone ID, and the city name or the area name will be mentioned here. Okay, some connectivity options. So local zone, you can have internet gateway, you can have a NAT gateway, you can have Amazon EC2 based VPN. So it does not support the VPN product, so you have to go with this if you want a VPN solution. Then you have AWS Direct Connect, AWS Transit Gateway between local zones, so local zone to local zone, and you have AWS Transit Gateway to the data center. So I'll show a few of them. How does the network architecture look like? So if you have an internet gateway, so you have a region, and then you have a virtual private cloud. To explain, I have taken two AZs, let's say public subnet, private subnet, and then you have a local zone, which is also part of the same VPC, but you have chosen a local zone which probably is closer to your end users, and therein you can launch public subnet and private subnet. And in that local zone also you can have instances and elastic IP, and that can go route through internet gateway for the end users to go out of the local zone. So you can have an internet gateway, and this is for NAT gateway. So if you want NAT private EC2 instances to communicate, so you have to put up NAT gateway in a public subnet. You would still need an internet gateway, so traffic from instance will go to NAT gateway, then through elastic IP go outside through the internet gateway. This is for private subnet connectivity to the internet, so it's outbound. In previous diagram also it's outbound. And finally you can have a AWS direct connect. So you have a availability zone, local zone, which is still part of AWS cloud and VPC. Then you can put a VPN gateway in your region, and that can have a connectivity with AWS direct connect through your corporate data center on premises. So this is a physical connection, direct, no internet allowed, no internet involved here, and through customer gateway or customer router you will make this connectivity happen. And local zone can also communicate with your corporate data center. And that's all. Thanks for watching.